Welcome to the Lee Priest Open. We are rolling right along with part 5 in this series. The 2000 Night of Champions versus the 2000 Mr.Olympia Lee Priest. Two very impressive versions. Night of Champions seems to be very full, vascular. Maybe a little slight stomach distension there versus the Olympia. Look at the waistline in the Olympia version. Very tight indeed. Now, not as full or vascular. The way he's holding his arms do look bigger, but I think that's can be contributed to the camera angle, which also makes his legs appear to be a lot bigger in the Night of Champions. Have to take that into consideration. But aside from that, he's definitely more full in the Night of Champions and leaner and perhaps better conditioned in the Olympia. I don't know. Hard to hand a point to either one in this first comparison. And I just absolutely love these specialty poses in these best of series. You can really show these because it is the man's, it's a specialty pose. It's not like a mandatory that you have to show in gladiator rounds and challenge rounds and things of that nature. So I get extra excited, maybe a little too excited for these ones. I am right about him being a little too full. That's how he does get that huge vascular look like in the Night of Champions version, but he sacrifices a small waist. You carb up, and the veins are on a chicka choo-choo train to Muscleville. But so is the belly. And look at the Mr. Olympia. No, not as big, not as vascular, but that tight waist gets the win in my opinion. Legs look better too. So 1-0 for the Olympia after two poses. And it is another point for the Mr. Olympia version in the front double bicep. He definitely came in too full. Look at the midsection. I don't think I've ever seen his abs look quite so tremendous like they do here in the Olympia. Wow. Makes an incredible V-taper. And his arms, if anything, they're matching the full version. Probably not if all the lighting was exact. You could probably see an advantage in the size of those arms in the Night of Champions. But nothing doing for a win here. The legs actually look a little bit smaller there. The camera angle, it is down a little bit. That would make the legs look bigger. But I think they would be larger anyway, considering how full he is. But for sure, victory goes to the Olympia. And what do I say time after time after time? The fuller, less conditioned version, if he is more massive, usually looks better in the side chest. He just looks thicker and better. Now, the lighting does provide a more picturesque pec there for display. But if you really look how big and thick and full his tits are. In the Night of Champions version, well, no, they're not tits, they're pecs. But he really hides that stomach, little bit of a distension that he does have. You can't really see it here, but you can see that arm size. Wow. Talk about full, thick, and vascular. I would give the Duke here for the Night of Champions, but I'm pretty sure it is far too late to come back and get a victory on the Olympia version. But let's finish this up with a couple of poses. One being, of course, this ab and thigh. And was it any question by anybody who would win this one? The abs were the biggest question of all for the Night of Champions version, the distension. Now, of course, this is amazing now. Now, yes, the Olympia version wins this one. Look at the obliques. His waist is half the size, making his lats appear twice as big. But here's the funny part. He's a whole lot more distended in the stomach in the Night of Champions. And compare this lesser ab and thigh with anybody on today's roster. This is an amazing world-class ab and thigh. World-class ab and thigh. Just disgraceful when you think about the ab and thighs that are going around today. Unreal. So it is a definite victory for the Mr. Olympia version, but let's have a look at this most muscular. And I thought for sure that the Night of Champions would have been able to have enough to win this one, considering how thick and full he is. But for some reason, I find the Olympia most muscular much more aesthetic, I don't know, maybe his triceps and biceps are overwhelming his delts. Could be the camera angle once again. I know I keep going back to that, but it is true. The camera is a little bit too low in the Night of Champions. I don't know. Look how big and vascular it is. I almost want to give him the victory in this one, as well as, what did I give him? Oh, yes, the side chest. So, here's for a little victory for the Night of Champions version. He gets the most muscular in the side chest, but not nearly enough to overthrow the 2000 Mr. Olympia Lee Priest, and he does advance on in the tournament. The next matchup in these brackets features the 2001 Iron Man Pro versus the O2 Arnold Classic. I believe that's the second in the Arnold Classic. Yes, the second in the way of that event for this man in this tournament. So, that is one to look forward to, and I hope you enjoyed this video. And of course, don't forget, have a good day.